What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So today I got a deck profile coming to you that is pretty good. It's done me pretty nice. So during the Extravaganza, I entered a Win-a-Mat and I played Prank Kids instead of Drytron, right? For anybody who knows, not me, mostly close friends, other members of Team Big Plays. Oh yeah, check it out, I got a mini fridge. Look at right. Anyways, I played Drytrons, and Drytrons are really good, and especially before the ban list. However, you know, they were like, Benton 1 Union Carrier 2, and I played Drytron with that last Extravaganza during the event. Surprise, surprise, I didn't really do too well, at least not as well as I had hoped to do, just because of the ban list itself. So this time, I decided to try something different, and I decided to go with Prank Kids because, though I say it's different, I think we all know by now, longtime subscribers, that Prank Kids has always been my deck. You know, I'm the Prank Kids kid, the Prank Kids guy. So I decided to play for the Win-a-Mat, and I did pretty good. I went up against, what was it? The first match was against Goki. They access coded me. I made access code back. And then game 2, I went against Shadal. It was like Shadal invoked Dogma. They couldn't do anything. I dropped Mystic Mind. And then they Nibiru'd me. And then I attacked with the Nibiru token they gave me because it was dummy thick. And then I went up against Bird Up and just proceeded to absolutely demolish him because the main deck hand traps I run are just so punishing, and I really don't understand why people are siding these out and just deciding not to run them, because it punishes so hard, so very hard, especially with all the draw power nowadays. So anyways, the video will be a deck profile for the deck Prank Kids. If you guys happen to enjoy it, you know, everything's down below. I feel like I don't even have to say anything. So let's get into the video. All right, guys, so getting into the deck profile, first you're gonna wanna run one of each of these. You're gonna run one Scissor Lizard, one Paper Tiger, one Rock Lobster. Completely catches your opponents off guard. And it's also just makes, you know, for really fun gameplay interactions rather than having to use a dice. So 10 out of 10 would recommend. For the monsters, the main deck monsters, obviously for the pranks, I run 3 Fansies. Hey, what are you doing there? 3 Lampsies, 3 Dropsies, and 3 Roxies. So I see a lot of people running 2 Roxies, which I understand up to the point I don't, because I see Desires and I'm like, why are you going to slim down the amount of Prank Kids monsters you get just to run Desires, especially when Roxy's 2, I feel like is really underestimated when it comes to fixing your hands, especially for hand traps that aren't good against certain opponents, which is in this deck even more powerful because of the hand traps that are ramped. Sometimes too, it's nice to just be able to tag out or just have a throwaway quote unquote monster that you can just bring out and not really care. Plus, we do run Abyss Dweller in here, so just having another level 4 in this deck is really good to have, because Abyss Dweller shuts down literally everything. Every time I brung out Abyss Dweller, I won that duel. Hands down, won that duel. So yeah, OP. Roxy's banishes a card and draws, and then special summons. Dropsies gains 1,000, Lampsies burns 500. Has really good synergy with Mystic Mind because you can literally just keep monsters off your field and loop burn your opponent to death. And then you run the 1 copies of Fansies, which is a Foolish Burial, and that can be pretty good, whether it's trying to recur a resource. If you have Monster Reborn in Grave, and you can slap out, you know, Dropsies or Roxies on the field, Monster Reborn, bring it back, boom. So yeah, that's the Prank Kids monsters. Then I run 1 Dark Magician, 1 Red Eyes Black Dragon, because I do run the Dragoon package, and surprisingly enough, when people go against Prank Kids, they expect to see the stun variant. So what I would be referring to is all the variants that want to run 3 Mystic Mind main deck, obviously Ice Dragon's Prison, and there can be only 1. So they don't expect the Dragoon coming, and they think that once they've stopped your plays, so for example, like they think once they've stopped the Fansies from getting off, right? So they send it for the link 1. then you only Meow Mute. If you have literally any other extender, be that Parallel Exceed, be that Monster Reborn, you could even run World Legacy Succession. I've considered it just because of how strong that is. It allows you to go into this, which completely recovers your entire play. And if you can slap, honestly, just slapping Dragoon with the hand traps alone on the board and a Pandemonium set is absolutely ridiculous. And then I run 3 Parallel Exceed. I remember the old builds running 2. I like 3 because there's a lot of times where I go through the 1, they ash it, and I still have the 2 for next turn. When I hit it, it does have the tendency to become a dead draw, but again, that's what Roxy's is for. Game 2, Pankratops, because screw should all invoked BS. This beats over pretty much most of your problem cards, especially Winda. You know, this is the one special summon, it's the only one you need for summon. Bop, effect, pop, especially if you just have it out on the field. You know, like if they have Schism or something, you just pop, pop, back row, nothing. It's just good. It's Pankratops, bro. Prankratops, honorary prank boy. For the hand traps, I run 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 Lancia, and main deck 3 Phantasme. So, y'all are probably going to look at the Droll and the Ash together and be like, what the fuck are you thinking? And you're going to look at the Phantasme and be like, understandable, but at the same time, why? Because, you know, things format. So let me explain this. One, if you have these 2 in your hand, it doesn't conflict as bad as you think it would, because once you let them get the ad off, Ash Bust them still prevents them from going into other plays. For example, Prankins Mirror Match, right? I draw them. Let's say they activate place, or Roxy's first, you draw. They think combo's over, but they can still special summon from deck. You just hit them with the Ash, that shuts them down. It's the same thing with other cards like Invoke. They'll shut down Shaddoll for sending things, Eldritch, just, I mean, honestly, you name it. Because I think people tend to forget about the other 2 effects. So these 2 actually pair really well together, and you can pretty much shut down a turn with those 2. Phantasme, because you want to see your other hand traps, as well as it's big and it stops your opponent from targeting your cards, which is really important when you have Dodo on the field and they're trying to get rid of it, or, you know, something in the graveyard that you're going to use, basically anything like that. Lancia, because this is literally good against everything this format, and there's been so many times where I'm just like, Lancia, and they're like, well, pass, especially if you can't get to Abyss Dweller, because you can't always get to Abyss Dweller. Sometimes you'd rather make Dragoon, which is another good part about Parallel Exceed. If you have Lancia in hand, most of the time you're not really going to have to make Abyss Dweller. Yeah, so that's it for the hand traps. And then for the spells, I run a 3 place and 3 Pandemonium. Pandemonium because, you know, quick play fusion spells go burr. Place because, you know, attack gain, attack loss is good, especially with Dragoon so heavily in the format. Cough, cough, your own Dragoon. Making him beefier than 4,000 is also ridiculous. And then obviously, you know, it's just extra prank kids' bodies. Plus, it's a card where, again, off Roxy's, if you need to banish it, you can. And then I run 2 pranks. Pranks because if you have pranks in hand, you know, other card, this will get you into a combo that gives you Battle Butler and Dragoon, assuming that you don't add the pranks to hand, but even if you add the pranks to hand, you can slim it down to something that's like Bow Wow and Weather Washer, and Dragoon on your opponent's turn, which is just as good because that gives you setup to go into access code next turn. The 1 Red Eyes Fusion because, you know, you really can't play the Dragoon package without a Red Eyes Fusion. 1 Instant Fusion, 1 Monster Reborn. Anytime you see Instant Fusions, insta win. Pay 1,000 life points to win the game, basically. Monster Reborn, really good. You know, you can always bring your Toad back when you summon out Toad, which is great. It's a good extender too, like I said, so that way you can make Verite if they decide to ash one of your Prankins monsters. I've also considered running World Legacy Succession here too. I just haven't had too much time to fiddle around with it. Monster Reborn's always a good card. Shit, I mean, like, you know, you go against your opponent, they send a Winda, top deck Monster Reborn, some Winda win the game. 1 Call by the Grave because hand traps suck, especially Ash. 2 Cosmic Cyclone because I hate back row, especially Ice Dragon's Prison and Schism. I actually won one of the duels because of top deck the Cyclone. I was like, bam, and hit their schism. Even though, you know, have these schism for when it's not like it would have really done anything in that instance either. And then for the trap cards, I do run one plan. So I don't see anybody running plan. And if you're running all the trap cards, I get that. You know, that makes sense. It doesn't seem to really fit because of the stun way you're playing. You don't have to burn through resources as fast. And your opponent's not generally going to get the chance to attack back. However, from what I've seen, honestly, just being able to link summon with the monsters that you summon off of fusioning for Battle Butler is really good during your opponent's turn. Of course, that stops destruction, and that can bump Battle Butler up to 4 stacks, which does come up. And then its grave effect, being able to banish it to drop the attacker opponent's monsters that is attacking. It's also ridiculous. That will, it's won me games, and forgetting to activate has most certainly lost me games. So I do run the 1. I used to run 2, obviously, but I think 2 is a bit excessive in this format. So you only need the 1. And then moving on to the extra deck. Dragoon package, 1 Dragoon, 1 Verite. Solid. Dragoon go burr. For the Prank Kids monsters, the links, 2 Dodo, 2 Bow Wow, 2 Meow Mew. If you have good resource management, having 2 should be fine. Of course, you know, if you want to take out the Dragoon engine, if it's just not your thing, you can always just throw in like the 3rd Dodo and the 3rd Meow Mew if you want. Always an option. And then for the fusions, 1 Butler, 1 Rocket Ride, 1 Washer. 1 Washer. This fusion Rocket Ride is actually busted and can get you on Dragoon, Toad, fusion spell, and some other, you know, some monsters to go do things with. Battle Butler, go Raigeki twice, and being able to send it. So like if they use Ecclesia, right, and you send your own Battle Butler, 1, you can put it back with pranks, and then Battle Butler can special summon you something out of the grave if they, for example, get rid of your Dragoon. And Washer is really good on your opponent's turn, especially stalling for time. And Washer is very essential to the burn combo because you're basically looping your 1 Washer and your 1 Bow Wow. So you want to make sure this is protected at all times if you can when you're doing the burn combo. And then for text, 1 access code, 1 unicorn. I did play in the main event and I very much missed unicorn. Definitely lost some duels because I didn't have it. But during the Win-a-Mat, I won the whole Win-a-Mat, so unicorn good. Access code talker, because it's your beater, it's like, you know, Boral Sword, but like kind of a bit stronger. So yeah. And then for your XZs, I run 1 Toad and 1 Dweller. So Dweller, for those of you who don't know, you can detach 1 material, shut down your opponent's grave, and it only takes 2 level 4 monsters, so it's really generic. Really oppressive. And if you are running, there can be only 1. It is a sea serpent, not an aqua, so unlike Toad, you can still summon out your Prank Kids Dropsies. And +2, if you have Dweller on board, right, you can always make it into, like, let's say they negate your card in grave, Parallel Exceed, boom. You make Dweller 1700 attack, that'll attack over most things, Cough Cough Ecclesia, Cough Cough Alistair, anything like that. And then boom, you just make Zeus if you decide to run Zeus. Currently in this version, I do not run Zeus because I have the Dragoon package, so I feel no need. I should also mention you can run Lyrilisk Assembled Nightingale to attack directly, and if you get Mystic Mine out with that, that's always an option. Just a little bit of theory crafting, get your brain working. But personally, I like these two because, you know, Dweller's going to win you the duel. If you get out Toad, Toad always wins you the duel. He's totally awesome. So, what can I say? Then, for the side deck, 3 Nibiru. So, this is also kind of my theory crafting here. There wasn't a single first turn duel where I was like, damn, I wish I had Nibiru over the other hand traps that I had in the main deck. And I see so many Prank Kids players being like, oh, Nibiru kind of didn't do much, Nibiru didn't do much, Nibiru didn't do much. And I'm like, well, yeah, because most of the decks you're going against, you know, Shaddoll, for example, right? You get rid of the whole board, they still got Schism, and they're going to get you next turn. Now, Lich, whatever, you want to put him in the grave, that's fine. I'll get him back and still use my trap cards. You're going to get Zeus is literally 1 normal summon on their next turn to beat over you. And on top of that, you just give them 3,000 attack to finish you off. Plus it clears your own board, and I really don't like that, especially when you're playing the Dragoon engine. That's not necessarily something, you know, you don't want to get rid of your own Dragoon. That's bad. But still, it's really good when it's really good. That's why I like to keep it in my side deck, so that way, when it's bad, I don't really have to suffer the side effects of it being bad. One Duster, because Duster, Saber, no back row, sorry. The Spice, I run 3 Herald of the Abyss. This card is bonkers. So, it's been a while since this card has seen play. I've seen it creeping up a little bit. Me and my friend were theory crafting about it, but you pay 15,000 life points, declare 1 monster type and attribute, and your opponent must send 1 face-up monster with the type and attribute you declare it, and if it, if the cargo effect goes through, cards in that graveyard cannot activate with that, cards with that name cannot activate, what effects in the graveyard, I'm pretty sure, yeah. They cannot activate the effects of monsters with the set monster's name. So, for example, let's say they have Winda on field, right? And you Herald of the Abyss, you get rid of their Winda. Then, they can't really bring out another Winda. And since it's forcing your opponent to send it, this gets around Dragoon. It is beyond non-targeting. It is quite literally telling your opponent to do something, which is pretty ridiculous. And of course, there's a lot of niche situations. If you're going up against like Dragon, Waking the Dragon, this will literally get rid of anything. This removal will literally get rid of anything in the game. There's nothing that it can't get rid of because it's telling your opponent to get rid of it. Really good. Love this card. It's come up clutch so many times. Have I won the game because I drew into this card, and there's so many times where I'm like, damn, I wish I had that card. And then it's Brother, because clearly same dude in the picture. Dark Ruler no more. Obviously, if you can shut down your opponent's monster effects, summon Battle Butler, boom, clear the board, or you summon Access Code Talker and just proceed to destroy your opponent next turn. And then I run 3 Mystic Mine. Obviously, Mystic Mine is pretty much Dark Ruler no more, but on crack because you can just burn your opponent to death. So yeah. And then I run 2 Solemn Judgment. I've kind of thought about the ratios in here. You could always take out like 1 Dark Ruler or 1 Herald for a 3rd Solemn Judgment. I have to mess around with that a little bit more. But this card is what stops you from Ice Dragon's Prison. And as far as anything else goes, Ice Dragon's Prison is pretty much what hurts the most out of any other card you could go against, because it will get rid of your Battle Butler, and there's really not much you can do except tribute your own Battle Butler off just to protect it in the grave, so that way it doesn't get banished as well. So you really want to stop that. Plus, too, obviously having something that gets a summon, always a good thing. Half your life points does kind of suck. You got to make sure that you're watching that, because that will lose you games. I've seen games get lost because of that. In fact, I did lose 1 game because of that during the other main event, because I shotgun Judgment when I should have just kept burning with Mystic Mine. So, but having the protection is really nice, and to quote Pac, you feel safe, and that's really important. So, but yeah, that's going to be the deck profile. Some theory crafting, like I said, Zeus and Lyrilisk are always options. You can always run Ice Dragon Prisons, and there can be only 1. I didn't have those, and I'm more of a traditionalist when it comes to prank kids, because I grew up in the Summon Sorceress, Thunder Dragon, mishmash thing that put out a ridiculous board that literally could not be broken. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, like, sub, notification bell, all the good stuff. Roll the outro, if there's an outro. Oh man, that was a good video. Hey, what do you still do? Oh, well, the outro. Yeah, this is the outro. So, since you're here, I guess I might as well plug. We got a Twitch now. Go check it out. Twitch.tv/JaBoyPopFizzle. And while you're still here, there's another YouTube channel for all you fucking weebs and degenerates out there. It's called JaBoyPopFizzle. Surprise, surprise. So yeah, go check it out. And I'll see you guys next time. Say hi, as always. Peace, peace. Oh, shit. I forgot my drink. Here you go. Here's a little something for the road. A little something for the road.